your bitch like I was Drake,
Don't just try to tell me you love me. Can't keep it real if you really don't trust me. Come with a real, you hit in the front, so you get my meals. I'm gunning for the money in the bank. Come with a dank, scrolling that tank, rolling with the gang. You sitting out on the sideline tripping, I go to the hole with the rock like Pippin.
yeah. I'm okay.
What up, though? Welcome to Woodward Heavyweights Live, WoodSports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, joined by my guy Spin More Rax.
What up, though?
Young Chris. We got Uncle Nicky, officially the sound guy for Woodward Heavyweights. I know we've had that conversation like 3 different times this past month, but this time I think it's set in stone, and I'm happy to have you, Nick.
It's official.
You,
I'm happy to be here. Easy, Spencer, Chris, shout out. Let's go, boys. Let's go on some shows.
Chris, at one point I will send you a couple more Brad Holmes videos because I messed up. I really meant to send another one to start the show with because my man was Ether.
Brad Holmes was, yeah.
He was on it easy. Yeah, fuck Jay-Z. Fuck Dave B. Pretty much,
For real.
I think there's like a...
He did go at Dave.
He did go at Dave. He always seems to go at Dave.
He does go at Dave a lot.
Yeah. I don't think... well, Dave's been like... Dave was like very vocal about the quarterback stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like some of the Lions media was just too used to like what previous Lions regimes were, what you can criticize because it did a lot of stupid shit. So it's like... I don't know. Dave needed like an ironing out period.
Yeah,
maybe.
You know, he wanted Dave pretty hard.
He did.
He wanted Dave. He wanted Eric. He wanted a couple people. Man.
Oh man, Carlos.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm being honest
good.
with you,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Good. Fuck that guy, dude.
I'll never forget when Dan Campbell got hired. I think it was maybe even before he got hired. He was trying to cancel.
Carlos is the worst, man.
He's trying to cancel Dan Campbell for like a pep rally speech he had at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever, man. Whatever. Hey, I like that we got Brad Holmes. He rocked that villain jersey for a reason. That man's a menace. All right. He came with the CBS receipts today, and he dropped names. It wasn't even just like certain people. No, he said Dave, Carlos. He wasn't playing. And I got a feeling if we were in that room, Spinny, I might have been sweating a little bit.
Might have been sweating a little bit for sure. For sure.
A couple big takeaways for a couple things that he said. I'll gather a couple more throughout the show too. What was your biggest takeaway, I guess, from the presser?
I loved it. I loved seeing Brad Holmes stand on business, go up there and talk his shit. It shows that why I think Ben Raven put it out there. He was like, it makes sense now why him and Dan Campbell work so well together. Because they're the same dude. They're the same guy. They're not going to bullshit you. They're going to tell you what they're feeling. They're going to stand on business. They're going to come correct. And I love seeing that. I love seeing that from a GM who goes out there and you can't question him anymore. I'm not going to question him anymore. Did I overreact at the trade deadline? Yes, I did. Would it have been nice to have an extra edge rusher in that game against the 49ers? Yeah, it would have. That definitely would have helped. But, I'm not going to question Brad Holmes anymore. He makes the right decision majority of the time, and his draft process is undefeatable. You can't question his drafting ability. That is not something that should ever come into question with Brad Holmes. You look at his track record since the beginning. And I loved when he talked about that 21 draft. He's taking laps on that shit now because he's got 2 first-team all-fucking pros out of that draft. He says, this is when you grade that draft. He said, this is when you grade that draft, motherfucker. A year into that shit, that's when you grade it, not a day after. You look at that Penei Sewell, first-team all-pro. Amon-Ra St. Brown, first-team all-pro. Oh, I heard you guys said I missed on Iffy. What's he doing, huh? Bro, that shit was awesome, bro. I love that out of Brad Holmes. I love that energy. It's that fucking loser dweeb Bob Quinn up there like, well, we're doing our due diligence. And I studied more film on Tease Tabor than anybody in this draft. It's like, no, Brad Holmes was up there giving people the fucking business, pulling receipts. I love it, man.
Nick?
Yeah, I mean, just from some of the highlights Spenny just noted, I have not been able to get a chance to watch the entire thing, so I'm looking forward to reacting to it along with you guys when we get play some of the clips. But I mean, he's going on business from what it sounds like, and I love the confidence.
We got a super chat from Nobody. Says, oh, boo-hoo. He snapped at a reporter. This Detroit hoe grow pair.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
Wait, is someone boo-hooing that?
I don't think so.
I mean, hey, nobody. Please don't think that we're boo-hooing that. We're parading that. We're saying exactly what you said.
I love that shit.
Detroit, bitch. I love it. Even if I were to disagree, I love that reaction out of it because, especially now to the point where like you have so much faith in Brad Holmes, for him to talk greasy like that means like he's very confident in the decision he made. And to be honest with you, he was talking he was never really hesitant on the draft class he had to begin with. Like, I think from the jump after the last year's draft was like probably the most ridiculed one, talking about the first round come out of. But he literally, in that presser, post-draft presser, he was like, yeah, we don't really care what the draft pundits have to say. Like, we're going to do like we got to do. Chris, my bad, man. I mean, what were your takeaways from it?
I mean, I haven't gotten, so I'm going to be able to react to this too. But, man, from everything you're saying, that's exactly what you want, like, from the top down. Not only do you want your athletes talking like that, but you want your front office. You want your coaching staff. You want everybody to be that confident. I love it, man. I'm really excited. I'm all for giving people credit giving yourself credit when you achieve something. I love to do it, and I love when people do it.
And it's like he's been subtle with like his little bit of shots like here and there, like the villain hoodie. I think that was like a subtle shot. Like, don't give a fuck what you guys gotta say. We're gonna do what we do, even if that makes us the bad guys. He had mentioned, like I said, the comments of like we don't care what draft pundits say. He never like name drop, but today he was name dropping, Hall of Fame dropping. Yeah, it was. Boy was not playing.
He literally went out there and dropped the control verse. Like, I love it, man. And like I said, he mentioned that 2021 draft class a couple times.
Yeah.
Because this is where you take that victory lap.
Yeah.
This is where you have 2 first-team All-Pros out of that same draft class. You can take the victory lap. This is where you have a guy in Ife Melifonwu that you were getting a lot of slack for, that people were saying, this is a miss, this is a miss. He didn't do it. We could have got somebody else come in there and play like a stud.
Yeah.
The last 5 games of the year. So I love it out of Brad Holmes, and I loved when he talked about that thing that we kind of questioned, where it's the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes guy. Like, are they a Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes guy? And he talked about getting the intangible players with great intangibles in the first part of that draft. The first thing you look for is the great intangibles, and saying like, oh yeah, we missed on a wide receiver, or we had to get Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's like, no, I wanted Amon-Ra St. Brown because of what he brings to the table. That's what I want to build my team upon, is guys with those kind of intangibles. And it's fucking working. I mean, he's a first team All-Pro. The dude's one of the best receivers in the NFL. So keep doing your thing, Brad.
I'm glad, and you weren't here for this, but one of the days we had Kool-Aid filling in, I started the show with a Brad Holmes apology, and I just, I hope that they saw that, because if I ever run into him at Costco, Brad Holmes is not a small human being. He's not. He's not.
And he's a very intense human being too.
Hey,
Eazy, you're the motherfucker who's talking shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Krasny. To be honest with you, bro. No, obviously the CJ GJ beef, whatever that, I don't know what the hell you want to make of that. I'd be more intimidated by Brad Holmes versus than CJ. Yes. No disrespect. I mean, CJ probably still puts a pause on me too, but just Brad Holmes is a massive.
Brad Holmes is a big dude. He's walking around like Dan Campbell too, yoked up in those fits, traps popping. Like,
what did I was doing homework on Terrell Williams? I guess that he coached Brad back at his alma mater, and Brad was the team captain too. So don't forget, like Brad, like you talk about former player coaching staff, like Brad played some ball back in his day too. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't make it to the NFL level. If not mistaken, I think it was due to some injuries too. But no, anytime, especially you got established rapport, or like I guess like the resume or track record is what it is with Brad Holmes, and he's talking that saucy, I'm taking that all. I love that. I love that, because again, it's almost like the cornerback shit that we say. Like if you got a cornerback talking that shit, he's probably walking that shit.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's him walking up there and saying, you motherfuckers are going to question my resume, my drafting acumen? Check that first draft, 2 first-team All-Pros.
Yeah.
Check that second draft when I'm pulling out of there, Aiden Hutchinson looking great.
Yes.
Check that third draft. I got 4 rookies starting. Pro Bowlers. Come on. Like,
and I have a clip too, actually, to, I don't know how to say that first name, Siempre Ramirez, I don't know, but he says, he or she says, I love what he said to the fans. This is no Cinderella story.
Yes.
We are intentional about our picks. That's the one I apologize for not getting to Chris, because I wanted to start the show with that. Because that shit resonated, and that just confirms everything we've been saying.
Yeah.
All off season, or just in the middle of this. No, I think we've been saying it like before this entire season. I think that was the expectation. I mean, everyone in this room, I think you were there for that day, at 12-5 as a record prediction.
All of us did, boys.
We knew what this was.
That was money.
And I'm not no shade towards Dan Campbell, but that's why I didn't really put him in the head coach of the year race, because like, motherfucker, we knew we were coming to knock heads. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was no surprise. We knew we had a dog-ass coach. We knew we had a dog-ass team, and we were coming to fuck shit up this season. And we did just that.
Yeah.
Did just that.
And I love it, because that's what I've been saying. I've been saying in the past year, really, that this cute story of the Detroit Lions, like, that shit's dead.
Yes.
It's not a cute story anymore. You have realistic expectations. You are a contender. You are an NFC North champion. It's a lock, baby. Like, the cute shit that, we're just happy to be here stuff.
No.
That was year 1. That was the end of year 2. where they go on a run and, oh, it's cute. This is a nice story. Look at that. No, this isn't cute anymore. You are a legitimate contender with legitimate expectations of a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And that's what it is now. That's what the Lions are now. This ain't your whore grandma's Lions. This is the brand new Lions. They're coming for checks. They're playing in NFC championship games, and they're going to win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
So you better be ready. Because the city, you think we talk shit now. You think you can't handle Detroit now and how we talk shit on Twitter. Wait until we wrap our fingers around a fucking Lombardi trophy.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to be able to handle Detroit fans then. And that shit's coming soon, I promise you.
Jonathan James, Woodward Sports Chat, said he walked away from the podium and unzipped his pants.
Facts.
And put to the point of us talking shit to like the rival fans out there, for some reason, I don't know why, it's kind of pathetic, but all year long, if you guys were part of like the live chats during these Brad Holmes press conferences, there's always been like a specific like Eagles fan. And there's talking shit. And it usually was like a bashing AG. I think at the beginning of the season, he was kind of just bashing like the franchise and always talking shit back. Today, hey, shout out to my Lions fans in the chat who silenced that motherfucker. He ain't had shit to say. We were shitting all over him, talking about how Baker sent him back home without his luggage. You know what I'm saying? Put his thumb in his, you know where. Hey, it was just nice. It's just nice to be able to talk that shit as Detroit Lions fans. And it's nice to see that's who we are as a city, as we are as a fan base. And able to do it, and it spread to our GM too. Mm-hmm. Like we said all the time.
Detroit's rubbing off on everybody.
Yes, sir.
We talked about new snippy golf, going after reporters, talking shit in press conferences that I like. Talk your shit, Goff. You just had a fantastic season. Go talk some shit to people. Say you're not a poor man's anybody. Tell Bob Wojo to shut up. Like, do that. I love that shit.
Yeah.
It's rubbing off on Brad Holmes, too. Brad Holmes walking up to that press conference and says, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you're cool, fuck you. Like, I love that shit, dude. It's what Detroit is. It's what this city is. It's blue collar, don't take no shit from nobody, grit and grind, do your thing, and take care of business.
Yep. Chris Pugh, that Eagles fan, was a menace. Hey, he got shit on, though. Like, when you, all due respect, because I like Baker. I've mended the beef after the Pro Bowl shenanigans between he and Amon-Ra St. Brown. They made peace. So, like, I'm cool with Baker. But still, Eagles fans, you got dominated by Baker Mayfield. I mean, 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns. Baker, the NFC South champion, the team that only was one game above 500, shit on you.
Yeah.
32-9. Like that 9 points, it translates to how many wins you had in German. 9, none, zilch, nada.
Oof.
But we able to talk that shit down. That same team, we whooped that ass when they came here. I'm just saying, we intercepted the ball, handed it back to him.
Yeah.
You take this. I want you to remember this game. You had your time to playoffs. Take this ball. Mm-hmm. Enjoy this moment.
Philly had one of the biggest meltdowns of NFL history this
they fell
season.
apart.
They have no room to talk anywhere.
Yes.
So I'm glad to see that
They won 10
what
of
he
their first 11 games.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't win the division and didn't win a playoff game.
Ooh, Eduardo O'Neal with some only 3 outdoor games next year. Boys gonna be talking. Hey, that it's a lock. We have a new edition of that to come next year.
Out of those 3, one's in Green Bay and one's in Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, who is the other one? Is even a cold
San Fran.
Do we play San Fran next year?
Yeah, I think
At
so.
San Fran.
I think we play like the division winner of each.
Oh, hell
conference.
yeah.
Could potentially open the season in San Fran.
That would be dope. Thursday night.
You know what? They win the
that
Super Bowl. I
blood
could see that. I could see that.
Back-to-back years.
Get
Lions
that lick back.
1-0.
Get that
Start
lick
the year.
back.
Well, look,
I'll black out again. We go to Coyote Joe's.
I'm down.
Be on the bull like a menace.
That shit was crazy, bro. It was like you were possessed.
That was the most drunk I've been in probably 10 years.
I sent Chris the video to begin with. But if you want to talk about Planet Fitness, when we get back, we'll get to some of these Brad Holmes moments.
Sounds good. Let me tell you about Planet Fitness because it's arm day today, baby. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone can feel comfortable working on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all this for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by, more than 50 in Metro Detroit, and thousands more throughout the world. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Are you tired of the same old sports swag? Head over to woodwardsports.com, click on the shop tab, and get yourself some new gear today. The ultimate swag. Go to woodwardsports.com and click the shop tab today to get some new swag.
Merch. What up, though? Welcome back to Whatever Waits Live, woodwardsports.com. I'm your boy Eazy. That's my guy, Spinmo Rax.
What up, though?
Young Chris, Nicholas Koloff, a.k.a. Unky Nick, a.k.a. Detroit Mario, a.k.a. got too many nicknames, but it's because he's doing things big out here. You gotta do cool things to get nicknames. What is Brad Holmes' nickname? Big Dick Brad?
Yeah. That works.
Yeah. You got any nicknames for him, Nick? You're Mr. Nickname. You got 12 of them things.
No.
Chef Holmes.
You guys are the ones that said
you want
Unky
to win one of your nicknames for Brad Holmes?
I'll give me a sec here. I got nothing on spot for you.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, for now, sorry you got children in the car, but actually, you got Big D Brad. How about that?
Big D Brad.
Big D Brad. Welcome back to the show.
The foreman.
Yeah, this is how he initially started the press conference. Shout out to the fans. And I sent this one last minute to Chris. You want to go ahead and play this one?
Yeah, the one you just sent?
Yeah.
All right.
If you got it.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
They truly did their part. And so much appreciation. Their support is not overlooked, so we want to thank them. And look, this is what I want to tell really our fans is, look, it's only going to get better, okay? We're only going to get better, all right? I don't want anybody to think that this was a one-shot Cinderella magical journey that just happened. No, it's real, all right? This is exactly what it was supposed to happen. And I understand that based on history, from what's happened in the past, like, I understand you have a season like this, it's easy to feel like this was kind of a one-shot, magical, lucky, cute story, which I'm tired of hearing. It was none of that. It's easy to think that, but no, every move that me and Dan make, it has been made to sustain what we are building, all right? Every single move, and I'll say every single move we make and every single move we do not make is to sustain what we have been building. So it's real. Look, it's all to normalize what we're doing, all right? This is to normalize it. This is an efforts to normalize it. Places Dan's been, it was normalized. Places I've been, it's normalized. That's why we're here. We're bringing this to normalize what this is right now, especially at least put all the efforts into normalizing.
I'm calling him Father Holmes.
Father Holmes?
Because when that man talks, he doesn't just talk, he preaches. And when he talks, people listen. This shit is important, man. This means something to me. Like,
this shit means something to me, man.
You look at it, and this is what I've been trying to say. This is what I've been trying to get out to fans. Like, yeah, awesome. This was a good run, but that cute shit is dead now. This isn't a nice story anymore. This isn't an underdog. Oh, the league's against us. This is literally not Detroit versus everybody anymore. It's everybody versus Detroit, because we have expectations, because we are sitting there near the pinnacle. We're right close to the top of Mount Everest. We have our flag in hand, ready to plant it at the summit. And that ends with a Lombardi trophy. And that ends very soon, because this man built this team to last. This man did what we've been waiting for in Detroit for 15 years, to finally be the team that goes from ass to the best. in a 2-year period.
Best ass.
And who delivered that? Yeah, we went from Taylor Swift to Beyonce. Like, you go from no ass to all ass. Like, it's the best ass. And that's what you see it happen in the NFL. When teams just flip the switch and get good and get better overnight. And now it finally happened to the Lions, and they are sustaining stuff because they draft first-team All-Pros, because they draft Rookie of the Year competitors, because they make trades. They bring in a guy who is thrown away, and he turns into a 2-time All-Star, putting up some of the best numbers in the NFC at quarterback. This is what it's like to have a competent front office. This is what it's like to have people in the place that know how to do their job and do it correctly. So shout out to Father Holmes for preaching to everybody, because this cute Detroit Lions team of destiny shit is dead. The Lions are contenders.
Done now, eh?
The Lions are Super Bowl favorites. The Lions are going out there and they're going to kick your ass, and not because they're gritty and because they come from behind and when they're down they'll bite your kneecap. No, because they're the ones doing the stomping. Because they're the ones putting you in the dirt. Because they have the good players, they have the great coaches, and they have one of the best GMs in football.
DCP1, big old ghetto booty.
Big old ghetto booty. Facts.
Hey, Nick, I know you missed this. After hearing, I guess, because that's how you opened. I guess, what was your take for it? Because I know it's your first time hearing it.
Yeah, first take is this dude is extremely confident in himself. Second thing I pulled from that is he's sipping some of MCDC's coffee. Looks like they got a little mixed up. He was fired up, ready to go.
Hell yeah.
He was ready to take on any names. This dude just has confidence in himself, and you love to see that from the top, your leader in the entire Lions organization. I know she was confident. She put these people in place to do it, but to see it go to Brad and Dan, and like you mentioned earlier, Jared Goff, your top leaders in the organization, being this confident in themselves should give these fans all of the confidence moving forward. We've seen Brad Holmes be elite when it comes to the draft. Phase 2 now hits with free agency, and then Phase 3 in the season with trades. We need to see him be elite at these two other parts, but for now, we know he's an elite drafter, and he went back on it and what he spoke about. And, I mean, I'm so happy that we have him as our leader of the Detroit Lions.
Now, Chris, because you touched on something I definitely want to talk about. It's what I want this segment to be. But, Chris, I know it's your first time, too. Yeah. A lot of the same stuff.
A lot of the same stuff, and actually to build off of his point, you know, and the other phases of being a good GM. You know, we talked about it. We talked about it on Friday, right? Like, he might be hinting towards. That's the cool thing. Like, he's done enough to where he could talk off just what he did. Yeah. But there's that part of me that goes back to that conversation we had Friday, where maybe Mike Payton was hinting at something, some type of big move is in the works.
Yeah.
And this presser could be, you know, not only just him talking on what he's did so far, but also something could really be around the corner. Like, I can't itch that feeling, and maybe those are two separate things in Brad Holmes' mind right now. Mm-hmm. Maybe he was just focused on the past, but that press conference speaks like he also is confident in what's about to happen, and that's what gets me juiced. That's what gets me really excited.
That's a great point too, because we're kind of looking back on like what what he's done. But to come out talking that crazy, unless you
right,
it's still
which
off.
He can. He's done enough to be able to talk that way.
For sure.
But you can't help but after having that conversation we had Friday, you can't help but think, okay, this guy has been clearly steps ahead. There's something there.
It's also been a couple weeks since like the season ended, and he's been able to talk that shit. So it's like you're not coming off like fresh off the hype because you've had time to think about it. Like, this press was supposed to take place on Friday. He's relaxed, calmed down. I almost had like the weekend to measure yourself and what you're going to say. No, he's still talking that shit, meaning like he's not necessarily taking a victory lap on what happened in the past, but possibly what's to come. I like the way he spent that, Chris. Damn, you got me excited, man.
This. And it's, you see what he's doing and the track record he's laying down and the pieces he's bringing together. If this man goes out there, he gets a chip. He's the Jack McCloskey. He's the Jimmy Devellano of the Lions.
Dominic the Coco.
He is. Hey, my paisan Jimmy Devellano took care of business. He went to Russia and stole some motherfuckers for the Red Wings. Like, he is in that breath of team builders, of leaders in the city of Detroit. Like, those two guys, you look at them as probably 1 and 2 of GMs or team builders in the history of Detroit sports. One built the Bad Boys, one built the greatest team in the history of American ice hockey. And both of them have championships to show from it. What Brad is doing right now, where he is building the best roster we have ever seen in Detroit football. You cash in a Super Bowl, you're right up there with them.
You know what? I'm going to save it for the next time. One thing I want to point out, and this is the moment I said, like, if I was in that room, I've been sweating. And if shots taken at us, because he talked about the moves. Because everything he said we do is intentional. The moves we make and the moves we do not make.
Yeah, I heard that line.
And that's been my only beef with anything. Someone in the live chat tried. No, I never had any beef with any draft picks. I never had any beef with any free agent acquisitions. My only beef, the only every time I had like a question of Big Dick Brad or Father Brad or Big Bronze Balls Brad, whatever you guys want to nickname him.
Father Holmes.
Father Holmes. I don't know. Those be touching people. I don't know. Put them.
Jesus,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No,
I like
man.
Big Dick Brad.
My guy, Father Bob, was the man. He never touched me.
Yeah. Either way.
Father Bob is wild.
Father Bob is the man, dude. Shout out St. Martin.
That's funny.
Well, either way, like the point we made, like the moves that we've made, the moves we have not made, that's where I would have started sweating a little bit, because obviously for me it was just the Chase Young acquisition. Right. I just felt like we needed more to like get over the hump. I feel like if you're going to win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, you need to have like a super team to overcome. Some of the playmaking stuff you're not necessarily going to see out of him. You need every little bit of reinforcements behind like what we're going to war with. And hey, I got to give him credit though either way, because he took my team to an NFC Conference Championship for the first time in my lifetime. So I can't question it. Like, who am I to question it? It's almost boring. Like you may have a draft class this next draft. And even if I don't like anything, what the fuck am I to say?
You can't.
Yeah. Who am I to question anything of it? It's like I can sit here and I can like certain prospects, and if they don't get picked, like I can't. Who the fuck am I at this point to have an opinion on it when we know it's Brad Holmes making the selection? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just. I love it.
It's almost unreal. It's like when is the house of cards gonna fall? You know what I mean? Because it's like everything he says ends up being true. We were so adamant, all of us, about Jalen Carter, right? Mm-hmm. And Jalen Carter looked good for a beginning stretch of the rookie season, but towards the end of the season, if you were to ask that at the end of the season, people would say, "Yeah, we'll take Jahmyr Gibbs and the other extra assets over Jalen Carter."
Yeah,
like everything he does just seems to age well. It's truly insane.
So do we even waste our time with draft grades this year, or we're just like
we'll do it?
Do we blindly give everything an A+?
I'm giving him A. I'm giving him A.
Yeah,
right. Just like
he could take a Australian punter in the first round and be like, yeah, he's probably a stud. He's going to be an All-Pro.
Honestly, those guys do kind of fare well.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're like, I think it's like
guys will be kicking 90
It was like
yarders.
10 out of 12 SEC teams had an Australian punter last year.
Wasn't the guy for the Cowboys that picked up like a 30-year-old like rookie or whatever, has like a family and shit?
Yeah, 10
wasn't he like New Zealand or something like that? He's a Kiwi, but I don't think he missed a kick all season. Or if he did, I think he was up into the playoffs.
Yeah,
whatever it may have been, something crazy.
It's amazing for once in my life. Like I've experienced this. I didn't experience it with the Pistons, but like my dad, because I wasn't alive for Jack making those picks and building those teams. But I got the tail of it with Jimmy V. I've felt it with Dave Dombrowski with the Tigers, and now I finally have that feeling with the Lions of a guy in the front office who is just going to make the right decision every single time. And you're not worried about him overpaying for a Jamie Collins. You're not worried about him drafting a Tease Tabor. Like, what he does is going to result in wins. It's going to result in great players coming to Detroit, and it's an amazing feeling to have for my favorite team. Like I love I love all sports. I'm a very well-rounded sports fan, but the Lions and football are my favorite. And for them to finally be in this situation, it's such a good feeling.
Well, it's time for us to try to decode some of the things Brad Holmes was asked when it comes to this draft class and free agency. And we'll do that when we come next, but not before you tell us where you get your cute little haircut.
Lady Jane's got an appointment tomorrow. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Feel alive during Feldman Chevrolet's biggest New Year's sales event ever. Get the best prices on our huge selection of award-winning Chevrolets. Like this 2024 Equinox for $188 per month. Or this 2024 Silverado for $268 per month. It's the New Year sales event going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
Feldman Chevrolet is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer with over 18 locations and one right in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the one nearest you and check out the best car buying experience in the game. Also, check out Woodward Sports. They're live every other Monday for Morning Woodward Show or Wake Up with Woodward and BDE.
We're looking for in Detroit Lions.
For the record, I like Sewell. I did like some quarterbacks at the top of it.
No, you want us to pick quarterback.
Not ones that but regardless. Can you speak to just some of the challenges that come with where you're at in this point? It's different than when you took over, right? Like you do have to pay some guys. You do have to, you're picking later in the draft. So how does that, I know you still have the plan, right? But how does that make things different in terms of how you approach
it's going to be the same exact process. It's going to be the same exact plan. We're going to be very strategic, very selective. We're going to look for the same type of players. Again, it doesn't need to be, I know I referenced, when we've had, multiple ones, and so now we're picking later back. Actually, that's exciting for me. That's like, man, it's kind of back to, I think, 21 draft. The other reason why I love that draft is there was no combine. You know what I mean? It was like you either had to know the film and pick the right players or not, and actually know the player and have the right intangibles, where I think, back there you're picking football players. And we're always picking football players. It's just that when we pick football players high, y'all have bashed us, but we'll still continue to pick football players in the guys as for us. So really it doesn't change. Will it be different? Yes, it will be different. It maybe not be as many high price external ads, but that's not required right now. So we'll just still keep sticking to our plan and go as normal. I think it's proven that it's worked so far for us.
We're talking about this in the back, and me, Ryan, and Noah, we were talking about things we do in the nighttime and things we like to do for fun. And we're like, what do you think Brad Holmes does? You think he goes to the club? You think he goes and does it? I was like, no, he probably just sits there and watches film on players, and that's how he gets off. He's like, oh, I could get that guy in the 4th round.
You know what? Let me hit that.
Oh, I could get him in the 6th round if I really wanted to. And that's literally what he does. He is such a nerd and such a wizard when it comes to evaluating, identifying, and collecting talent for football players. It's so impressive that he has to just be so, because we were talking about those Apple goggles. The Apple goggles that they're coming out with that you can look around VR. Mm-hmm. And we're saying Brad Holmes probably has 6 different tapes going at once in his. And he's like, oh, look at that. Oh, shit, look at him. Look at that edge rusher. Oh, look at the size on that guy.
Oh, look at that. Look at this. Look at that.
This guy is a sicko when it comes to evaluating, scouting,
look at
and
look at that.
Acknowledging talent at the college level. And he's so good at it that it's amazing how you can just find your niche and just be that. I wish I was that good at anything. Mm-hmm. Literally anything. As good as Brad Holmes is at evaluating talented football players.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even beyond that too, because it's a team effort, right? Brad Holmes as much as you may have the Apple goggles, like you can't be everywhere at once. And like, we saw it break down to what do they call it again? What is it? Behind the den or something like
Inside
that?
the den.
Inside the den, where they send out the the draft scouts, and they're at different colleges all at once. They come back and bring their reports. But for Brad, not just identify, I guess, what he's looking for in a player that it fits what Dan likes to do as well, but also identifying the people who are capable of identifying those things, and then also like just preaching out to them what lessons he's learned when he's looking for players. Like I think he said it. I don't know if it was in that clip or not because we maybe have to replay that, whatever, refreshing it. But regardless, he had mentioned like it's finding the talent's the easy part. What they're looking to identify are football players. And I think they've been very intentional in doing that. In fact, he's told us that like quite literally multiple times today. Yeah. They're very intentional finding like football guys. The issue is some of you guys bash him. They find the football guys earlier. Not me personally. I think he's more in that beginning of that clip. He's talking about Dave Burkett when they took the Penei Sewell over in a quarterback situation. But I think the telltale sign there, because the reason why I wanted to play that video is to get a feel for what this season was going to be, what this offseason was going to be, I should say. Because after following like us making that NFC Conference Championship game berth, I felt that this season was all in. Like, we got to go all in to get the Super Bowl. I've been calling it the last dance. But then Dave Burkett asked him that, what's the game plan? And he said they're not going to change a thing. The strategy's going to change. They stay the same. And I guess, like, again, we just talked about, not questioning this guy, but I guess what is your reaction to those comments?
Do you think B-Rad? B-Rad from Malibu, y'all? Like, this guy has not made a wrong decision so far, except, like I said, the one time that I got mad at him, the one time that I started getting emotional and overreacted a little bit was at the trade deadline this year. And yeah, it's like, would I have rather had another edge rusher? Yes, I would have. But still, he's going to make his decision. And it's not like he didn't sign guys in the offseason. So I don't think that's what he's saying. Because you look back at this offseason and what did he do? He signed Cam Sutton. He signed Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He signed Emmanuel Mosley. Like, he revamped that. So I think he's still going to sign guys. I think he's still going to bring in those guys. Yeah.
But I just think it's going to be like a balls-deep approach. Like I guess I'll be up front, like what I was hoping for. Yeah. Just because, again, I think like if you're going to win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, that's the way you go. But again, if Brad Holmes is very comfortable with his ability to identify guys, with his staff with identifying guys, again, that fit Dan Campbell and what he's trying to do, then maybe they don't need to go balls in. Maybe it's not like the top tier talent guy. He kind of mentioned that too. It's like we're not going to it's not going to be big money acquisitions. We kind of just stay the course of what we did. And as much as they did spend money with Cam Sutton, it wasn't like a huge payday per se. I think David was probably the highest paid skill position guy we had. Yeah. And he was also the best guy in the market. So maybe we can look at it like that. But I guess my takeaway from it is that we're not going to go like I can dead my Justin Matabuke dream. I could probably dead a fantasy of Chris Jones.
I don't think you can dead anything. I really don't.
No?
I don't know what this guy's going to do. I do think he is going to get somebody. I think he is going to bring someone in who makes this defense better. And I think it's going to be somebody that is going to cost a little cachet. Like, I don't think he's scared to do that. I think he's going to bring somebody in that's going to make this defense better, whether it be a Danielle Hunter, whether it be make a run at Jalen Johnson if he doesn't get tagged, whatever it is. I think this guy is going to go out there. He's going to bring someone in who is going to help this team win a Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like I guess the area of guy that I would expect to get is like a guy that's not the top of the heap. That you're like, oh, that guy's for sure a stud. Like just like as great as Danielle is, a little up there in years. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe him, but I don't even know. It may be a Cam Sutton. It may be a lesser known guy. He kind of hinted towards that in like previous like free agency classes too. I mean, Nick, Chris, you guys were listening to it too as well. What was your takeaways?
Yeah, I'll start this one off, Chris. Appreciate it. I think for him, he wants to be super. What?
Take a seat,
he said clear out. He said clear out. That was
I got this.
I mean, when you give us the option, when you give us the option, somebody is gonna.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're good. It's just funny.
Yeah, you know how it is over here.
Yeah, that was funny as hell. I guess. All right, Chris. I just lost my shit. All right, this is where I'm going with it. I believe Brad Holmes.
Shot clock violation with this
Brad Holmes is going to be aggressive. We've seen it, but his aggression comes out in the draft. We've seen him trade up for a guy like Brian Branch last year in the second round. The year before that, we saw him go from 32 to 12 when he traded up for Jameson Williams. When he finds his guy and they already do the vetting through the whole entire draft prospect, he knows it's a guy that he wants on this team and in this organization. So I can see him being aggressive when it comes to the draft. we haven't really seen that in free agency yet. We did get C.J. Gardner-Johnson later in the process in free agency last year when he wasn't getting contracts around the league. Fell in our lap. It really did. So we haven't seen him get those bigger name guys. Yeah, it was a great day in free agency. I would love to see him get aggressive. I don't know if he does. I think he is way more confident in himself drafting than he is getting these guys in free agency.
That's what I meant too. Like, I'm not saying he's like going to be. I'm not saying he's not going to be aggressive in acquiring talent. I just don't think he's going to be like the top end talent, or like, I guess what's perceived as a top end talent. Like I said, the Justin Matabuke's, L'Jarius Sneed's, Jalen Johnson's. Like, I think we can. I guess not expect those things and not be disappointed when we don't get them, because as he said, motherfucker, I do this.
Yeah, I'm nice with this shit. And like, I know you laughed at me when I said it because it was in different contexts, but like when I said the TJ Hawkinson stuff, I was like, he's a dude, he's going to be a dude. He's going to go out there and be a dude. That's literally what Brad Holmes just said. He's like, we're looking for football players. We're going to get football players. They're a football player. And those are the guys that they're obsessed with. They're obsessed with these guys that eat, sleep, smoke, fuck, drink, everything football. Like, you need to be obsessed with football. That is the Brad Holmes guy. And we talk about how you look at it, and maybe some people thought that Jameson Williams wasn't the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes guy. No, you hear how these guys talk about him. You hear what Amara has to say about Jameson Williams, about how this dude loves football. This dude wants to play football constantly. So that's what you have to be. It's not, are you a nice guy or not? It's, are you obsessed with the sport like these guys are? Are you obsessed with bettering yourself and getting better like these guys are at all times? And I think that's the path they're going to continue to go. And you see it constantly just flooding our locker room with guys like that.
Yeah, today I had the conversation with myself, and I said, we're not going to scout these players off talent no more. We're going to listen to their interviews. We're going to listen to like the character traits about them, because that's what they draft, man. That's what they draft. I think it's, and as he said, it's easy to look at like the film, and then you can look at top end guys. That guy's got it. That guy's got talent. Chase Young, that guy's got talent. But you saw like the effort play against the Gibbs on the Gibbs touchdown that he was like highly critical of. Like, yeah, he's got talent, and it flashes at moments, and he makes big plays. He had a TFL on Gibbs, a TFL on Monty in that game. But how consistent is it? How consistent is it, and is it going to be infectious enough, or just along with, like, in line with everybody else trying to do on this team? We do have to go to break here, though. When we come back, let's do some more Brad Holmes, because why not?
Hey,
why not?
He gave us that ammo, bro, on a Monday.
On a Monday.
Double cheeked up on a Monday afternoon.
Hey, for over 6 years, Ferry Pack comes to provide Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with the finest prime beef, dry-aged beef, and Wagyu beef. Make sure you get it delivered to your doorstep with ferrypacking.com, or stop for the only steak shop at Grab and Go Steaks at Grosse Pointe. For Grab and Go Steaks.
How would you like to win not one, but two vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Come hang with the Woodward Sports Crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
With money on the line. Featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
What up, though? Welcome back to World Heavyweights Live on WoodSports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, joined my guy Spin More Rax.
What up, though?
Young Chris, Unky Nick in the building. Press that like button. Be a friend, tell a friend, share the stream. We're kind of just diving into like I guess trying to like see through what Brad's saying and decipher a little bit of the future. One thing I will say, though, and credit to him, is this entire regime, is as much as like we've seen leaks in the past before coming from other franchises, that's never been the case with the Detroit Lions. As much as you may have seen like off-season rumors when it comes to the draft, not a single one of them have ever come true. I think outside of maybe like Devon Witherspoon, which obviously didn't come true because he got drafted beforehand. But remember when that people were saying, "Oh, they're really high on Tyree Wilson." Mm-hmm. Nah, that didn't come. And then I remember reacting to that one too, like,
we don't need Tyree Wilson.
We don't need this fucking Tyree Wilson. All due respect, Tyree Wilson just didn't come up to me as a Dan Campbell guy.
And he didn't look good this year.
And he did not look good this year. He did not. He very much of the Chase Young elk, right? Like the guy who's got like the potential to flash something, but Harley pulling it out, you know what I'm saying? Oh, pause. But One Piece, I was able to decipher something in.
One Piece?
Chris, yeah, shout out to One Piece. Actually, I watched anime this weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah, Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's a great one.
It was great. Yeah, honestly, I'm not going to lie. One Piece, though, I was able to decipher. What I'm thinking that we were able to decipher, I feel like he kind of just outright told us there, was the Frank Ragnow one. We was asked about the offensive line. You mind playing that one, Chris?
Line has been really, really good for you. You have a couple of free agents there, Ragnow's injuries, Decker last year was contract. Just how important is it to continue stacking that position?
It's extremely important. And look, Ragnow, it's only one of them on the planet, in my opinion. So, but I have so much respect for him and for everything that he goes through and fights through that, I'm just respectful of his time and his thoughts. And, we're not going to, pressure him to do anything or make any moves, but the communication will be diligent. It'll be thorough. It'll be respectful. But just that's what our team is. Our offensive line, us being able to, protect the quarterback and run the football like we do. It's extremely important. And so that's definitely going to be one that that'll be an area that will not be overlooked. As good as it has been in the past, just so.
So as Brad Holmes being asked, with Decker and Ragnow, all the injuries and the time they put in with possible retirement looming, I think more directly with Ragnow than Decker. Is that a position of need for them come this offseason? I think he's kind of forthright with saying, yeah. I think his actually answer to begin with was that's extremely important. And my question to you guys, one, where do you expect that to come? Is it going to be free agency? You think it's going to be earlier in the draft? How early in the draft? First round draft? Or how do you expect it to be addressed?
I don't think it's going to be, first round of the draft, but I do think it's going to be in the draft. I do think they're going to get 2 offensive linemen in this draft. I think they like some of the pieces they have. Kobe, we'll see what happens there, but I'm not going to doubt a Brad Holmes draft pick, and Kobe Sorsdale has the track record of he might be really good. He might be a good piece going forward. It's going to take some time for him to adjust for sure, but he comes from a great pedigree. He comes from great stock and what he did in college, so there's no saying that he can't do that in the NFL. But I do think they attack this, whether it be a center or a guard, in that first 4 picks. You got 4 picks in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. I do believe Brad Holmes is going to use one of those picks for an interior offensive lineman, because you look at the pieces you have leaving, it's not just if Frank retires or not. Mm-hmm. You've got Jonah and Graham both on the last year, both pending free agents.
Yeah.
And I do think they're going to re-sign Graham. I think they'll bring him back because what he did, what he can do, where it's move to guard, move to play either guard position, play the center, is very valuable for a team, especially with one who has some banged up guys on the interior offensive line. But there are decisions that have to be made. I think Jonah's going to walk. I think they re-sign Graham. I think Frank comes back. And I think they draft an interior offensive lineman in one of those first 4 picks.
Actually, I'm in agreement. I do think Frank does come back. I think having Hank Fraley return, and obviously there being unfinished business, Ben Johnson, I think that's a huge nod or just evidence of that possibly. I know that's comments that he made, jokingly in his presser. His exit presser was Frank's not back, I'm gone. Jokingly, but I mean he's back regardless. But yeah, I think that's how you go about it. I think within one of the first 4 picks, and to be honest with you, I'm not a big draft a guard in the first round guy. I'm kind of opposed to it. But again, if it's Brad Holmes making the decision, then I'm going to live with it. I'm going to rock with it. I'm going to support it. It is what it is. But I do think Graham Glasgow comes back. Another thing he noted too in the presser was that every pending free agent they do have, or everyone that's eligible for an extension, they sit down and they have those transparent meetings of what they're trying to do. And I think it's been made public that Graham Glasgow is something they prioritize, bring it back to the organization. Now, he's also made public that he wants to get paid. I could see that them both figuring that situation out, because as much as Graham has been valuable to us, he's also kind of the back end of his career, and he also just loves being here. I mean, that's part of the reason he did come back, to be part or to do this thing back over again with Ragnow and Decker specifically, and Hank Fraley too. He's friends with all those guys. TJ Lang, back when they did the sitting down talking with TJ, whatever, that was the guest, was Graham Glasgow. So he went to Michigan as well. So yeah. I think we have all the leverage of sentimental value wanting to return, but also we'll pay him a fair amount as well too. And then with the first 4 picks, address the other side of the offensive line, and hopefully you get someone as versatile as Glasgow has been, who could kind of step in and play that center role if something does go down, or if Frank does walk away from the game at some point. Nick?
Yeah, I think you have to attack this guard spot in the first 2 picks, personally.
Wow.
I believe you do. And I would get aggressive with that second rounder. If we do go maybe DN, say, in the first round, I would get aggressive with the second and try to get the best interior lineman on your board. If he is still there, maybe even late first or to early second. I think highly of this offensive line, Jared Goff, and these running backs, where this team is going to be elite for a long time on the offensive side of the ball if this offensive line remains a top 5 unit. This team will roll. We've seen what they've done this season, and it's because of that offensive line and giving Jared Goff time, and especially in the play action. If you look at the AP first team All-Pros, 3 of the top 5 are first rounders. One of them being Penei Sewell. If they believe that there is an elite guy on this offensive, out of these offensive linemen coming out in the draft, I say take a shot at it, because this line means so much to this team.
I did do a mock draft.
Save it.
Mock draft, and there is a guy in there.
I want it.
Save it.
I took in those first 4 picks that a lot of Lions fans are going to be like, oh, it's pretty similar. Pretty similar to a guy they see out there every day. Pretty similar to a guy that's one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL in multiple positions. And I'll just say his pro comp, the guy he is most like that people put out there,
save it,
is Creed Humphrey.
This fucking guy.
So this guy is pretty. I'm gonna save my breakdown on what he does, who he is, and how he handles things. But there are some dogs you can get there in the interior defensive line, and this is a versatile guy. This is a versatile cat. So I think it's somebody that Brad Holmes, based on what he has done in his career, this kid that I'm looking at, it's a Dan Campbell guy. It's a Brad Holmes guy. And he fits what the Lions do well, very well. So there are options out there. There are options at center. There are options at guard in that 3rd round that I think the Lions are going to take advantage of.
Way to give away your whole breakdown. Good job. Chris?
Yeah, I didn't give away nothing yet.
To go off of what you guys said earlier about, when does he attack this through the draft, through free agency? I mean, the simple answer, and this is why we talked about last time, Brad Holmes being so good and making our job that much easier by saying, wherever the Brad Holmes guy is, if it's in free agency, that's where he'll attack it. If it's in the draft, that's where he'll attack it. But you guys do have a good point of him moving up in the draft, showing the willingness to move around and get his guys. So I think that the draft is a more likely scenario, but the truth is that he's got his guy on the board, and if it's like an Amon-Ra situation where he's found this lineman that nobody knows about, this hidden gem that he can get in the 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, he'll wait on that, and then he'll use his resources elsewhere. He's always detailed and layered in his plans and his strategies. Nothing is ever one-dimensional with him. He always has several contingency plans, and he always has a master plan that he's working under, and that's what he said in the press conference. And that's what he's continued to show us with his regime. So wherever he attacks it, I'm going to think highly of that selection, because he's given us no reason to not think that way.
It's something it's very, 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 very crucial to this team's needs if they're going to make the financial commitment to Jared Goff. Like Ben Johnson, that is something that he needs to operate as an offensive line, and a damn good one at that, in my opinion. So I'm going to step away, and I'm not going to have any issue with where he decides to address it and what assets he decides to address it with, whether that be with a 1st-round pick or that be with throwing big money at who he decides to fill in that spot. Now, personally, I feel like it's easily replaceable, and not Frank Ragnow per se, but I'm talking about the guard position itself because of how elite we've had on the outside of it. Actually, you have a breakdown later to come about Penei Sewell and how great he is as a tackle, because we heard Chris Long, or was his brother's name, Kyle Long? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Kyle Long, who said, damn, I've always wanted to play with a tackle like that, because you're just able to do so many other things. But you have that in Penei Sewell. So I think the guard spot is one that's easily replaceable, but if Brad decides to use high-end assets to fulfill it, I'm cool with it. Because I think, like I said, it's very, very crucial if you're going to make the commitment to Jared Goff. You got excited about saying something else before?
No, it's just I just saw breaking news on Twitter about Mike Vrabel.
What is it?
It says, this is a report. It says Mike Vrabel being a large person scared away some teams in certain ways from hiring him as their head coach. One NFL GM told Diana Rossini. He's a very large human being and can be very intimidating to people in an organization that are going to be a part of these decisions. That is a factor.
If that's how you're deciding who your next coach is, there's a reason why you're at a vacancy and looking for somebody else. You're just doing shit wrong.
I want them to next season just like get somebody with just ball sack somebody. Be like Mike Vrabel grew 3 inches or something like that.
You said Rossini came out with it.
Yes,
Diana?
a GM told Diana
You know what I'm thinking on this one, fellas?
What?
It was the Commanders.
Yeah. Honestly,
you know why they didn't get Mike Vrabel? Hey, too tall for us.
Too big guy. He scared me in the interview. That's pretty wild. Well, I can't believe that. We're going to talk more about this Detroit Lions team. We're going to break down my mock draft and what Brad Holmes had to say. But first, let me tell you about Jacques Labrador. RIP to the same old Lions, and big thanks to Sheila, Brad, and Dan for putting them to rest. And guess what else has found its grave? Same old rock, paper, scissors. Jack Labrador has revolutionized that tired game with 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play. Discover the action at jacklabrador.gg now and find out why once you go Jack, you never go back.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
What up, though? Welcome back to Woodward Heavyweights Live on WoodwardSports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, on my guy Spin More Rax.
What up, though?
Young Chris, Unky Nick.
Let's go.
What's the movie that we Lil Nicky? Unky Nick, Lil Nicky.
That show sucks.
That's a movie.
That movie sucks.
It definitely was bad. It was so bad that it was.
No, it wasn't good.
Was it as bad as Jack and Jill?
No,
I didn't see Jack and Jill.
I haven't seen either of them, but I've heard horrible things.
Oh, Jack and Jill's awful.
Love Sandler, but
Lil Nicky sucks. It's the worst Adam Sandler movie I've ever seen.
It's worse than Jack and Jill?
I haven't seen Jack and Jill.
Okay, well, you can't say Jack and Jill.
I said it's the worst one I've ever seen.
Yeah, what's that one that like had like a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes?
Jack and Jill. It's bad.
Is it that one?
It's
or
bad.
I thought it was a different
It's the
one.
least memorable. I mean, I didn't get to finish
You're playing Twister with your sister.
No, I'm pretty sure there's another one on Rotten Tomatoes that's Adam Sandler that's got like it's like Cobbler.
Hateful Eight.
The Cobbler.
The
Cobbler. I actually like that one.
I never seen
something
that.
Ridiculous 6.
That's what you said, a Hateful Eight.
You said Hateful Eight. It's a Ridiculous 6.
Hateful Eight's Tarantino.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was like a spin-off or whatever. The
All right, let's
football.
Football.
What? I like. I got a couple places we could take this one.
Football.
We got the spinning mock draft. We got Ben Johnson, not just Brad Holmes ethering people today, but Ben Johnson ethered the Commanders in a sense, and Adam Schefter is involved with that one too. Where do you want to take it? You just want to do your mock draft? You want to bear it all? Or do you want to do some Benny Johnson first?
Let's do the mock draft first.
Okay.
Let me bear my seed. All right, so I did another mock draft. I mean, we're both supposed to do one, but
I can't right now. I mean, I probably can try tomorrow.
You definitely can. But put my mock draft up there, Chris, because this one went pretty good.
Mock draft Monday.
Mock draft Monday. Here is my mock draft. Number 1. First pick, I got Nate Wiggins. He fell to me. I was very happy with that one. So I took Nate Wiggins there at 29. At the second pick, I took Braylon Trice, that edge rusher, out of Washington. I was extremely surprised to see that he was still there, so I ended up taking him there. I think he's going to be very good in the NFL. And number 3, I picked Chris Jenkins. I know Nick will like that. He is that defensive tackle out of the University of Michigan. Dude's a monster. He is a Dan Campbell guy. He is going to make some things happen. And then at number 4, this is the guy I was talking about earlier. A fellow hog. One of them big uglies. Bo Limmer. Out of Arkansas. He's 6'4", 301 pounds. In his 5-year college career, he's played both guard and center. He is comp to Creed Humphrey as a guy playing center. He is one of the best rush blocking centers in NCAA. He is a people mover. He is big. He gets out there. He pushes people around. He can improve a little bit on his pass blocking, but I think here, let me find it. Yeah, 809 snaps of pass blocking. He only let up 4 sacks. Wow. So it's pretty damn good. It's really good at the NCAA level, especially playing for a team like the Arkansas Razorbacks. And I think this is a guy, like I said, this is,
How big is he?
6'4", 301.
I like it.
Yeah, he's a big dude, and he moves people around, man. He is very athletic for his size. He's got great movement in the pocket, moving things, picking up screens. He's a very fluid pass blocker. He's got great footwork. And that's the first thing I do when I break down an offensive lineman is I look at their feet and how their feet move and what they can do with their footwork. So I've said it before that your offensive linemen need to have the best feet on your team.
Yeah.
Your offensive linemen need to have the best footwork on your team, and this guy has great footwork. He's got great natural athleticism. His knee bend is very good, and like I said, he moves people in the run game. He pushes people around in the run game. He can play both guard spots, and he can play center. I think this is a guy that the Lions should look at if he's still there in the 3rd.
No, I like that a lot. I'm not too familiar with him. I'm not too familiar with like where he's been going in like mock drafts, but I love that. Chris Jenkins. I guess I'm going to go to you, Unky Nick, on this one because you're the Michigan fan. All right, how familiar are you with this game?
Put the mock draft back on the screen for a little bit.
Yeah, he's a really good defensive tackle. I mean, he was a key reason why Michigan's defense was one of the highest in college, or one of the best rated in college football. He's a key reason why they did win the national championship. I would love to see Chris Jenkins in a rotation on this Detroit Lions defensive line, especially in the interior. A couple of guys ended up standing out a lot, so he was in more of a rotation with Michigan's defense just because Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham stepped up so much where they were becoming elite players, but it didn't take anything away from where Chris Jenkins is, and he could be a key contributor to this Detroit Lions team.
Chris Jenkins is the definition of a Dan Campbell guy. He loves football. He is a beast in the middle of that defensive line. Talk about moving people around. He moves people around the other way. Like, he moves offensive linemen around. He's big. He's athletic. He's strong. He is disruptive. He can do it both in the run game and in attacking the passer. Chris Jenkins would fit very well on this Lions offensive line, or defensive line, excuse me. And if you could get him there, I would love that pick for the Lions.
6'3", 305 from what I see on the PFF breakdown. I like it. I just got to do a film dive on him. I apologize, I don't know more.
Jenkins?
Yeah.
Just looked up some of Balin Trice's numbers. I'm a big guy when it comes to production. I know Chris Jenkins didn't have too much from the interior. Balin Trice, complete opposite.
Yeah.
Dude was producing all over the field. Any just minor breakdown on him from the first look at it, Spencer,
he's
big into?
He's big. He's athletic. He has a great bend. And he's got a deep bag of moves. Like, he has counters for all of his moves. He's got a rip. He's got the rip spin. He's good with the hand chopping. He has very violent hands at the point of attack. His natural athleticism makes him harder for the bigger guys to stay with because he gets quick movement around him. And his sheer power, he can overpower if you move him on the interior, do an interior pass rush. So he's a guy that can get to the quarterback from a multiple variety of ways. And it's impressive to see what he's doing. You look at the division he played in, like the Pac-12, you've got some of the best offensive lines in football over there. Mm-hmm. Like, you've got some very good offensive lines in the Pac-12, and he made a lot of noise going against UCLA, USC, Oregon, these different heavy hitters. Like, he shows up in the spots when he was needed. So I like him. I think that, especially if you can get him in the 2nd round, I don't know if he's going to be there. I think he's a 1st-round pick, but he's a stud, man. And then
Brandon Trice. Well, go ahead.
No, keep going.
I was just saying one of the things too. One thing that I admire about him and anybody coming out of that conference is like, you know how pass happy it is. So how many constant like drop action have. So, I mean, for the stat wise production, like you have more opportunities at the quarterback to put up those type of numbers. But also like watching him and just the consistency of it, I think is a trait that Dan Campbell would definitely be a fan of. Just the nonstop motor, the willingness to get back up and go just as hard as the rep before. Obviously, I think we've grown to know that. Like, we saw it quite literally with, I don't remember who it was per se, but as a veteran piece they brought back from the Patricia regime, or whether he was like still there. I think it was Jamie Collins, and he had showed lack of effort in that Monday night Green Bay game.
Yeah.
The next day he was gone. I think that's like a telltale sign that Dan Campbell likes the guys to constantly give it up and give their best foot forward on the next rep.
And Drake Cole says, talk to me about Wiggins and Fred Folson. I agree with him as well. Fred Folson says Wiggins won't be there at 29. I'd be very surprised if he was there at 29. I look at Nate Wiggins as the best cornerback in this draft. He is tall. He is lanky. He is extremely, extremely athletic. He's going to be one of the fastest players on draft day, offensive or defensive side of the ball. His ball skills are amazing. Pause. Like, he goes out there and he attacks the ball. If it's up in the air, if you throw a 50-50 ball near that man, he is coming down with it. It's extremely impressive. He is not a grabby guy like at the top of the route. Like when I broke down his film compared to Quinion Mitchell's, Mitchell is very grabby. He's very handsy. He's a very aggressive, physical cornerback. That is not what Nate Wiggins is. Nate Wiggins is great when it comes to playing the ball without grabbing, without interfering, without getting a penalty. It's extremely impressive to watch him go out there. He's done it for a couple years now at Clemson. I love this kid, man. I fell in love with this kid like I fell in love with Christian Gonzalez last year. Like these tall, lanky, athletic quarterbacks who can play that ball and are literally guys that you could say, okay, there's the best receiver all day. You're locking up with him all day. That's what he is. He is the potential to be a lockdown number one cornerback. I think he's the best prospect at cornerback in this draft. I doubt he's there at 29, but Brad Holmes has proven in the past he is not afraid to move up in the draft and get a guy if he really wants him.
Yeah, Nate Wiggins. Like, I don't know if there's any like true like lockdown guys per se like in this draft class like years prior. But if I were to pick one or at least a handful of guys, he'd definitely be amongst like the top of that list. I think he's a former wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken. But just like his smoothness, like the translation from I guess like the agility to like speed to catch up to a ball player. You want to talk about self. No longer look at talent. Let's look at guys that are putting up their best effort. He also does that too. I think he has 2 highlight plays in his career where he's chased guys down.
Chased down a running
all the
back.
way up to the one yard line and popped the ball out. Like, you want to talk about a Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell guy, like all effort guy. Like, this is it. He's got the speed. He's got the length. I think there's been some question of whether like his arms are as long as like you'd like to see at the cornerback position.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly preaching that technique, which by the way he's only 20 years old, so a lot to teach. I think he's August something was his birthday, so probably 21 once training camp starts. You'll have AG in his corner teaching him from like young raw roots. I have no concern with like the arm length. Nate Wiggins is without doubt amongst my favorite cornerback prospects in this draft class. Maybe number one, like you.
Yeah, he's number one for me, like by far. And I see Thomas Rotundi and the Ronin say Mitchell's good. Mitchell is a stud. I don't want to put this label on him because I think he can be good. But when I watch his tape, when I watch his highlights and his game film. I broke down 2 of his games, his best one against Northern Illinois and then another one they had. He gives me Jeff Okudah vibes. He gives me Jeff Okudah vibes when I look at, because he's a very physical corner. He puts hands on people, both off the line and at the top of routes. And you're not going to get away with that in the NFL. Like, they're going to flag you for that if you're getting physical with these wide receivers at the top of their routes. I don't know, like I said, I don't want to put that on him because Jeff Okudah was a huge bust, obviously, but he gives me a little Okudah vibes with how physical he is and just the level of play. Like Clemson, Toledo, you're seeing a different level of prospect when you're looking at teams that Clemson is playing and teams that Toledo is playing. And his big game, like Mitchell's big highlight game, he picked off Rocky Lombardi 3 times. Like, Rocky Lombardi, Spartan legend, but like kid's not the NFL caliber talent. And I know that doesn't really play too much of a factor because if you're good, you're good. Look at Sauce, he played at Cincinnati, stuff like that. So I don't factor that into it too much. But the thing I do, he's very physical at the top of routes with receivers, and you won't get away with that in the NFL.
Question for you guys real quick.
Also, real quick, Senior Bowl highlights. Like, I get they're nice, but like you also have to understand like those quarterbacks, those are like their beginning reps of those wide receivers, those play call, like everything like that too. That's why I think cornerbacks have an advantage there in a lot of those situations. What were you going to say?
No doubt. From Paul Thomas in the Woodward Sports YouTube chat, better than Kool-Aid? Question mark. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of breakdowns of Kool-Aid.
Let's have that conversation when we get back, because we have to go to break.
Yeah.
And I do like that one. You want to tell us about Big Boy?
I will tell you about Big Boy.
I love that question, by the way.
Wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan or the new Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. How about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. Try the classic lumberjack or Santa Fe Garden. Also the new apple pie hotcakes that are too good to miss. Top it all off with a gingerbread shake for dessert. All of that and more at your local Big Boy.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Give your pet the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Same prices and all the convenience of the online and big box retailers with one major difference. Family, locally owned and operated for 30 plus years. Over 60 brands of food with nutrition experts to help you. Same day, local curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best at www.premierpetsupply.com.
What up, though? Welcome back to World Heavyweights Live on Sports.com. I'm with Eazy. That's my guy, Spin Mo Rax. Young Chris. We got Nicholas Koloff, a.k.a. Uncle Nick. Detroit Mario, whichever one you want to ride with. We got him in the building. We're talking Detroit Lions draft. It's crazy because I remember once upon a time, this was like a mid-season topic. That's how bad Detroit Lions were.
Yeah.
It's a blessing to be talking about this in January and be somewhat foreign to some of these prospects. We had a comment from, was it Paul Thomas, you said? Who asked why Nate Wiggins over Kool-Aid McKinstry. Spinny, you were excited to answer that one, so I guess I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I would take Nate Wiggins and Quinion Mitchell over Kool-Aid McKinstry personally. I think that when I talked about Quinion Mitchell, his effect playing in Toledo, I think the opposite is true for Kool-Aid McKinstry. You look at that Bama defense, and you have 2 great edge rushers. You have a good corner, the opposite of him. I don't think he was asked to do much. When I look at Kool-Aid McKinstry, he gives me similar, but not as serious or as critical, but a similar situation, to what we saw with Kelly Ringo last year, where Kelly Ringo in the beginning of the year and in the first, 6 weeks of the college football season this is the best cornerback in football. He is the best cornerback prospect in college football. He is going to be the first one off the board, and then he falls into the second round. Now, I don't think Kool-Aid's going to fall that far, but I do think that these other guys, they've done more with less. I think they've looked better on tape with less players around them, with less Alabama Nick Saban schemes around them. Like I like Kool-Aid, don't get me wrong, but he is 3rd, maybe even 4th on my cornerback rankings, and I would take both Nate Wiggins and Quinion Mitchell over him.
Yeah, I think different players, but kind of same story when it comes to guys that have a lot of hype coming out of college versus like the actual production, how it may translate to the NFL level. And it's kind of like Brad Holmes said, you can't truly have like these nail intakes until you've seen them at that level. But I do have probably around the same thing as you, probably 4 or 5. I think he's more of a name like Keely Ringo than he was production wise as it translates to the league. I think he got like great like straight line speed, but he, for some reason to me when I watched him, he kind of lacked like the patience or just awareness, I guess, like mirror wide receivers the way you've seen like Teron Arnold, who's on his exact same team. The same thing that I love about Nate Wiggins. Like when you watch these guys, man up against their wide receivers, whether it's like close or like off, they're able to like kind of like mirror, if not run the route for the wide receivers. I didn't see a lot of that from Kool-Aid McKinstry. I saw a lot of like him being kind of physical at the top of routes, being pushy, which he can. And I think there's a lack of competitiveness when it comes to like a Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes regime. I think there's a lack of competitiveness when it comes to like stripping the ball out at the point of contact. Where I think out of Quinny Mitchell, you see that. That's when he talked about he's really like physical. And then like Nate Wiggins, we talked about him just really chasing guys down the 1 yard line to make them fumble a ball. They're very competitive when it comes to like if the catch is made. You guys know what type of play I'm talking about. Sometimes you may see a catch made, DB rips it out. I don't think you see a lot of those instincts with Kool-Aid McKinstry, in my opinion. But we'll see. But to me, I don't think he's that top tier cornerback that everybody thinks he is. I think it's a lot similar to what we saw to Keely Ringo last year. Do you have a take on that one, Nick? Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet. Yeah, I got to dive into Kool-Aid a little bit more. You hear all these names all season when it comes to specific needs that this team needs, and it's obvious cornerback is the top one, along with another D lineman and another interior offensive lineman. But Kool-Aid, I mean, he didn't really stand out too much in the national or semifinal against Michigan. I will say that. I think he had a couple of good plays, but nothing that I'm like, kind of blowing my mind. Like, hey, we need to go up and get this guy in the first round.
Yeah.
And Detroit Villain says, what about Cooper DeJean? Cooper DeJean,
he's a dog.
He's a dog. He's a dog. He's a great, he's a great athlete. He makes a lot of plays, but he's not he is a zone off man corner. He is not. If he plays outside corner in the NFL, if he doesn't move to nickel or safety, he is a zone off man corner, and that's not what the Lions need. The Lions need a straight up one-on-one lockdown man corner, and I don't see Cooper DeJean being that in the NFL.
You watch your mouth. You watch your mouth, sir, before you speak on the great Cooper DeJean.
He's good, man. He's good. He's a great player. He's got great ball skills. He's great. He's a great athlete. He makes a lot of different plays, but seeing him at Iowa, he played a lot of zone. He played a lot of off man, and that's not what the Lions need right now.
Do you have faith that he can make the transition to the NFL?
I think he's a Dan Campbell guy. Like I think I wouldn't be surprised if they took him, to be honest with you. I just don't know that he
does like those Iowa boys.
They do like those Iowa boys. But the Iowa they produce great pro prospects, for being honest with you.
For sure.
Despite like what they may show NCAA records and whatnot, but
tight end
I think he is like their type of guy because I think he does do it all. I think he's a punt returner. I just don't know in terms of needs, but at the same time, Brad Holmes never necessarily always drafted that way. Sometimes, like he said, they just take the football players and they let the rest, I guess, fall where it may.
That's what he's always said.
Yeah. So
I would take DeJean over Kool-Aid.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
I would take Cooper DeJean over Kool-Aid McKinstry personally.
But honestly, to be honest with you guys, like I can see him being like an All-Pro at the NFL level. I just don't know if it's at like as an outside cornerback per se.
Yeah,
I see like a lot of like
he is sneaky athletic, Danny.
Sneaky athletic.
Was gonna ask.
Plays the game the right way.
Yeah, exactly. Just like I'm gonna ask you guys, the quarterbacks in the Big Ten, there really are none.
Yeah.
So does that scare you going forward with his production? I mean, he had 7 picks in the last 2 years, Cooper DeJean. Does that scare you moving forward? Because the quarterbacks in the Big Ten are not making the transition to the NFL.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at the highlights, they're not like I think there's one against Michigan State where they kind of just overthrew the receiver, and he's just athletic enough to make a play on it. They're not like he says he plays like off man, but it's because he has the speed to make up for it if it is thrown short. It's I just don't see him as an outside corner at the NFL level. I guess I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong. It'd be pretty sweet for I guess the Rashard Mendenhall people who buy into his all whites versus all black team.
Oh yeah, he would definitely help the all white team for sure.
You guys get your outside corner, but I think he'll be great. I just don't know if it's at the outside corner spot. I think it's probably more at the slot or as a safety, and I think he'd be a dog at those positions too.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. To be honest, I guess I could take and move him to nickel and branch to safety. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I want an outside corner. I think that's like what we need. We'll see what Brad does. He said today, don't be surprised if they do some things that you might be like questioning or whatever, but just know there's intentions behind it.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
He can do whatever he wants in the draft, and I'm never going to question it ever again. Never, ever. I know that last draft, it wasn't who I wanted, obviously, but I didn't shit on it. Like,
yeah,
some people we know shit on it pretty hard, but it's
who
Braylon left.
Oh, yeah.
To
be fair, the one he left on is probably the most questionable.
Oh, for sure.
Like, to this day.
I still think that kid's going to be a stud. But I remember I was sitting next to him. He was on air, and the pick was in, and I look at him. I'm like, Braylon, it's Jack Campbell. He's like, Jack Campbell. I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm out. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, I ain't sure about that one.
I think Jack's going to be, I think he's going to be a stud next year.
Yeah, I think where we need to see him develop is like in the pass game, which is like was supposed to be a strength of his.
Yeah, I mean,
but NFL is a change.
Do you think he can make a better year 2 leap than Aiden made?
I think his year 2 leap will be tremendous. I think it'll be huge. And the same way you saw
huge.
We saw it at the end of the year.
We kind of been like
massive size.
Not a lot of people loved Alex Anzalone.
It's gonna be huge.
I've always saw him in the right positions, but never like translate to like on-field production. I think same could be. Like, listen, look at the linebacker room we've had, the leaps they've made underneath the coaching of Kelvin Shepard. I fully expect Jack Campbell to make that similar leap. That's a great coach in Kelvin Shepard, especially at the linebacker position. So
Luigi Gaming makes a good point. He says, "Don't forget the draft is here, so they get to go straight to work." That's true. That first round pick is going to be able to just walk to Ford Field. Like, I mean, that's kind of a hike, but still, that is dope.
I guarantee that's going to be a story that comes out that night. That one of the prospects that's drafted that night will hit Ford Field.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I guarantee that's going to be a story that's talked about the next day.
For sure.
I had a comment and the thing just loaded up behind me.
Thomas Rotundi, Cooper DeJean is the Christian McCaffrey of corners. Gives me more of a Cooper Kupp vibe. Like, I don't know.
Honestly, though. Like, he's smart. Yeah. Former quarterback, former receiver. Like, when you watch him, he really anticipates shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it'll be great.
Wicked
I just don't know if he'll be an outside corner.
Wicked smart.
Honestly, if we got him, he would be a dog.
He has the intangibles.
He'd be an absolute fucking dog. No, he's going to be a dog.
He's got the intangibles for sure. He's a gym rat.
Yeah.
Gym rat, you know.
All these things are true.
Loves the hustle.
Go watch his basketball highlights.
I was gonna say, didn't he lead like the state record over
he beat,
some NBA player?
I think he beat Wiggins. No.
I mean,
let me look that up.
Wiggins
who's? I'm trying to think of the name. No, I think it was Wiggins. I'm pretty sure Wiggins from Canada though.
He is.
Yeah.
Who's? Give me some Golden State. It was somebody on Golden State.
Parker?
Maybe it's Harrison Barnes.
Oh, Kuminga?
No, it was like Golden State. The cum bucket. What a nickname.
He's been balling.
He has.
It was one of the forwards on Golden State. I know that.
Is it that rookie one? I don't know how to say his last name. I think it's like Pacheski or something.
I think it might have been Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He hasn't been on the Warriors in like 8 years.
Yeah. I seen he broke the state's like 100-meter dash record too.
Yeah. Oh no, he's a freak athlete for sure.
So he has the speed. I mean, I got to do a little more research on him.
Bro, he's tough. He is tough, and part of it could be a little bit of racism because you're not used to seeing those guys at that spot. If I'm being honest,
it makes the film pop.
His kind.
I just can't see.
Don't like seeing his kind out there.
Not that. It's just like it's gonna be foreign. It's really foreign to see, but he's gonna be a stud. I just don't know.
That Shane Gillis clip. We were starting a quarterback with polio.
Yeah, no, there's no questioning his athleticism. Like, the kid is a freak athlete, man. Yeah. So we'll see.
Thomas Rotundi, Jack Campbell is not good. Can we please stop? The dude was getting dusted by everyone. He's a rookie, brother. Yeah. What did you?
Jack Campbell didn't make any good plays. You didn't see him make any good plays in his rookie season.
And you saw
not every rookie is going to be Sam Laporta. Like, come on, man. Especially linebackers.
I gotta find out which.
And he was second on the team in tackles, I think, at the end of the year.
I think a big thing coming out that kind of brings this all together from the beginning. It's Brad Holmes does what Brad Holmes wants to do when it comes to the type of player he drafts. So I'm curious to see Cooper DeJean's pre-draft workout.
He's going to light up the combine.
Yeah, he's going to light it up.
He's going to light up the combine.
So if he's lighting up the combine and lighting up those interviews with Dan Campbell,
I hope he gets an interview with. I hope Deion Sanders is doing coverage again. Like, he used to do coverage at the combine.
He's not. He's a coach.
I know, but still, that would be so fucking funny. Because he'd say something funny. I love Deion, man.
DCP1, do y'all think Jack looks as athletic as his RAS score? I never thought that. No. When I saw the RAS, I was blown away by the RAS stuff because I didn't think that was going to be the case. I knew he's like fast and I know he's big. I didn't know he was going to have like the agility they scored on the RAS, but
his first sack I saw this season, his first career sack when he exploded into the backfield from the outside. ran right into the locker room.
He's a freak
after.
I think you can like give him the athletic nod though to know that he played that Sam linebacker spot, produced in the first time he ever played the fucking Sam linebacker
He's
spot.
never
You know what
played
I'm saying?
that position before in his life, and he went out there at the highest level and was holding his own. Like I think he's going to be very good.
Yeah, I'm willing to give him the time to develop, especially underneath the guy Calvin Shepard. You've seen cash in again, Anzalone, to Derek Barnes, to Malcolm Rodriguez. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy is constantly giving you production out of linebackers.
Facts.
So
let me tell you guys about Guardian Alarm. Guardian Alarm offers you customized solutions from real experts. Their professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. They also have 24/7 professional monitoring. You can call them anytime, day or night, and a Guardian Alarm team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. And of course, they have technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology. It's been proven to work, and people who have been proven to care. So call them at 1-800
Stay Out.
That's 1-800
Stay Out,
and let them know Woodward Sports sends you.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy.
The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Dispo Dispensary is giving away 2 tickets to the big game. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, the one in Vegas. That's including your tickets to flight, your hotel, and accommodations. Make sure you go to dispo.michigan, visit the first post, and follow the instructions for your opportunity to win. That's Dispo, your local cannabis plug.
Check it out.
Check it out. What up, though? Welcome back to the World Heavyweights Live on Sports.com. Your boy Eazy. Spin more racks. Young Chris. Nicky.
Let's go.
Little Nick. I'm sorry.
Little Nicky.
I just haven't chosen. I think I'm going Unky Nick. I like that.
I'm cool with Detroit Mario, but
Detroit Mario.
Let's do Unky.
You don't choose your own nickname.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Lunchbox Hooligans. Eazy. Do you think since they hired Terrell Williams, do you think the Nico Artery comes with them? Is he free agent? I would love for that to happen. That could have been the good news that Mike was referring to during the Senior Bowl, because Terrell Williams was walking around there. And maybe it's not anything that's set in stone or guaranteed, but maybe something Terrell Williams, talking shit like, I want my guy, come with me to Detroit.
That'd be pretty cool.
Do some big things. I'd be all down for it. I think it's. I know. I don't care which way Brad Holmes does it. I think we kind of been over that earlier in the show. We don't really question him too often, but if I were to power rank the positions to me, I think I would start defensive tackle. If I could pick like an all-star stud to fill that spot, that would be it for me. So I'd be cool with that.
It's fair.
Tis fair. You know what's not fair? A lot of the media coverage on Ben Johnson following his, I guess maybe it might be fair.
No, it's not.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm. So I already went off at the bum Adam Schefter once.
I think it's fair. But it's reading the article, I think it's more so on his agent than anybody else. But we do have the Adam Schefter video, Chris?
3 came first.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah, because
we're good.
I can see where they're coming from.
Bro literally needed 1 second.
Yeah.
All right, let's run it then.
As an interesting situation was reported this weekend about Ben Johnson, and I think it was the Commanders, whether he didn't interview well or he didn't trust that the Commanders front office and new ownership, they were basketball guys and not football guys. Is there you got anything on that for us, Shefty?
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson obviously is one of the top assistant coaches in the league. And the situation in the end didn't work out, I think, the way that a lot of people thought or hoped that it would. And again, Ben Johnson is entitled to do and stay wherever he wants. He's more comfortable in Detroit being the offensive coordinator right now. He just is. you speak to other people that interviewed him as well, not just Washington, which didn't get the chance, but he wasn't entirely comfortable, getting ready to make the transition to become a head coach. Where it becomes an issue, I think, is this. If you know that you're pulling out of that job and you're withdrawing your name from consideration, all good, no issues. There's a time to do it when the Washington ownership group is not in the air on the way to see you in Detroit. Now, people could say they're coming to see Aaron Glenn there too, and that is 100% accurate and true. They were on the way to see Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. But if you're Ben Johnson, let's just think about this logically, okay? If you know that you don't want that job and you've committed to talking to these people who've spent weeks doing diligence on you and investigating the possibility of hiring you, why would you not just sit down with them when your season's over? Listen to them for 2 hours. Say, well, Mr. Harris, Mr. Rails, very impressive. I want to wish you the best of luck. Good luck with everything. Thank you for coming to Detroit.
Yeah.
I'm very happy here. I'm going to stay, but I really appreciate
You're going to love Aaron Glenn. You're going to love Aaron Glenn. Yeah.
Hey, Adam Schefter, get your panties out of a bunch, bro. Why are you backing these owners so hard? You sound like such a pussy. This guy can do whatever the fuck he wants. It's his life. First of all. Second of all, how the fuck is he supposed to know the Commanders are flying to Detroit? Well, I mean, you think he's got the flight logs for the Commanders on notification?
It was a set time.
Like, bro, this is pussy. This is the biggest pussy shit I've ever seen out of you, Adam Schefter. Quit being a bitch about it. The man let them know. They already sat down with him. He already interviewed with him once. So it's not like this would have been the first time they interviewed him. Quit being a bitch about it, dude. He said no. Get over it.
I don't think it's being a bitch. That's just professional courtesy.
No, fuck that, dude. Fuck the Commanders. Fuck their ownership, except for Magic. Love you, Magic. But that's just pussy shit, dude. You should let them know whenever they want. You should have the courtesy enough to sit down with them. He did sit down with them. This would have been the second interview. So fuck you, Shefty. He just got so butthurt about it. Like, this man is trying to tell this man how to live his life.
It's just professional courtesy. That's like they're literally en route.
So what? Who cares? He's not an owner. He has nothing to do with this interview process.
I don't
Why
think
is
he's
he getting so hurt about it?
I don't think he's hurt.
That's how he was. Did you not hear how he was talking?
Well, yeah, because
you should have the respect for your owners.
There's a point to that.
So
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Fuck him. Ben can do what he wants.
I mean, yeah, that is very true, but there is a professional courtesy I think that you would want to show an organization in the league that's willing to give you millions of dollars to become their head coach. It's just like a personal look thing. It's not just like Adam Schefter in the Athletic report that like kind of stemmed this conversation. There was multiple owners kind of saying like, oh, that was kind of a bad look on Ben Johnson's part. Now, if there's a defense of Ben Johnson in that manner, it was his agent who texted the ownership group that he was no longer interested, not Ben Johnson himself. So I think that's more so on the agent making the decision to text them while they're en route to Detroit. But no, I think there is something to be said.
What's less professional? Sitting down there and listening to this owner pitch you for an hour meeting about how you'd be the next great head coach in Washington, knowing you're going to say no and just wasting their time, or saying, hey, sorry, thanks for the interview, or thanks for the opportunity, it's not going to happen.
Saying, hey, it's sorry, thanks for the interview, it's not going to happen.
It's not.
Like you would definitely like, again, to show courtesy and respect to them, making the flight log out there to go and see you on the snowy day that it was. Yeah, you would want to sit down and have them at least be able to pitch themselves to you. That is a professional route to go about.
Ain't no fucking courtesy in this fucking business. They'd fire him in a heartbeat if he didn't do what they wanted him to do. So fuck
you're
that.
Just saying
fuck
that. That's not how.
That's not how it goes.
No.
That's not what happened to Frank Wright. These owners aren't just lunatics that do whatever they want and fire people at any time.
There's meetings, you have conversations. You say, hey, bud, like we're going to decide to go a different way.
But with
Shefty's butthurt because somebody stuck a finger up to the people that pay him his money.
I don't think it's anybody being butthurt. I think it's just pointing out common courtesy and professionalism.
If it was a separate team that wasn't the Commanders, I would say Shefty's maybe not butthurt. I believe he is here. He is in
he's
bag
tweeted
for the
like
Commanders.
6 different reasons for why Ben Johnson didn't get the job. He's mad he didn't get the story right and got exposed again.
He's 100% just trying to save face for these Commanders owners that they didn't land Ben Johnson. That's how I truly look at it from an outsider's perspective. But if it was second interview, that's why I don't believe this is a problem. Ben Johnson heard the spiel. he was not down with it the first time, why would shit change the second time going about it? If he knew he wasn't going to do it, like Spencer said, why would you give him the time when you're clearly going to be remaining the Lions offensive coordinator?
Because they're flying to Detroit to speak to you. They made a commitment. You made a commitment to sit down and have a conversation with them. So then they loaded themselves up, scheduled a meeting with you to in another state. They came to you versus you coming to them. That's the professional part of it. Like, they made time out of their day. You made a commitment to have that conversation with them, whether you decide to go there or not. That's the professional part of it. I don't see it as like fuck Shefty. There's no doubt in my mind that Commanders ownership definitely trying to save face, and with we didn't want him.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, 100% agree to that part. Ownership is definitely trying to save face. Ben Johnson was the number one coaching candidate for all teams, and they waited to pick a coach because they were banking on getting Ben Johnson, and then he kind of said, and honestly, this is why they're upset. No, after they waited the entire hiring process to get that fuck you, they're butthurt, absolutely. And should they be? I would be too. Yes, I mean, I get being a fan of the Detroit Lions. I get being a fan of Ben Johnson. It's like a
let them get butthurt.
I don't think there's anything.
I'm glad these owners don't get what they want all the time, every time. Eat the rich. Fuck them.
By the way, too,
let them burn their jet fuel flying around the fucking sun.
I'm 100% cool if it looks bad on Ben Johnson, because I want him to be the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions for as long as possible.
Just not head coaching material.
Yeah, so I'm not going to sit here and defend this. I'm going to call it out for the unprofessionalism that it is, because I want him to remain the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions for as long as possible.
Exactly.
Super unprofessional by Ben Johnson. Definitely not head coaching material. Sure. I think he should just only be an offensive coordinator where he's tolerated by Dan Campbell and the boys. That's all. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, we'll keep him around because we're not putting him in the head coaching role, because that's just not what he is. Like, he's just not a head coach. He's asking for too much money. He's prank texting people so that they waste their jet fuel. Like, this guy's an absolute menace. He's out of control. Leave him here in Detroit.
Absolutely. Unprofessional.
He's a menace.
Not head coaching material. I mean, is that how he's going to cut his players too?
He's insane.
Is that going to name you're sitting on the bench?
I heard after they turned around, he texted them and said, "Just kidding, we still on?" And then they turned around again.
Yeah, and then said, "No,
I'm not going to."
Yeah,
so
exactly.
quit asking.
And then he put his phone on Do Not Disturb.
I heard he accidentally sent them a dick pic. It was like, oh, wrong number.
I see it in the chat. Is it unprofessional to give Aaron Glenn a fake interview? Because if you're going there anyways to interview Aaron Glenn, why are you so upset that he said no? You still got business to attend to in Detroit, so it shouldn't matter that you're flying to Detroit because you were already going there to interview Aaron Glenn. Another candidate you were seriously considering for your position, right?
Well, no, I think they're upset because Ben was the guy they wanted.
Those owners, all these owners are losers, man, except for Sheila Ford Hamp. She's a saint.
I'm on team, make Ben look bad so he stays the offensive coordinator.
I'm with that.
Just saying.
The guy asked for too much money. He wastes people's jet fuel,
Interviews
which is very insensitive. Do you know how much jet fuel costs these days?
Right?
It's outrageous.
Dude, you have to start a whole network to pay for it, I hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit's expensive out here, fam.
Jet fuel is not cheap.
Is pricey, boy. I'm just saying.
I just think it's hilarious that it's, of course, Schefter breaking this story about the Commanders and it's, not getting their guy.
The fourth story Schefter has broken about why Ben Johnson said no to the Commanders. There's, the Commanders didn't want him at first. Oh, no, the Commanders didn't think he was a great fit. He was asking too much money. He put off the Commanders. And now it's, the Commanders think he was unprofessional for saying no during their second interview. So what was it, Shefty?
Cry me a river.
Stand on business. Stick with one of your stories, or just keep pandering for these owners because they obviously got you in their pocket.
I don't really see that as that.
Let me tell you about Les Stanford. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That is exactly what Les Stanford did with Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today and find the brand you want at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford, find new roads.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball. Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
WoodwardSports.com/shop tab. Click on that today to get the newest and best merchandise. All right, if you're tired of your same old sportswear, you need some new swag, head over to WoodwardSports.com, click on the shop tab today, and get yourself the ultimate swag. Merch.
What up, though? Welcome back to World Heavyweights Live on WoodwardSports.com. I'm your boy Eazy, my guy Spin Mo Rax.
Hello.
Young Chris, Unky Nick. Press that like button.
Smash.
5-star review on podcast platforms. Be a friend, tell a friend, share the stream. I want to talk about the Detroit Lions third quarter situation. On the season, per EPA, ranked the third worst, if I'm not mistaken, in third quarter production. Oh, I did. Okay.
No, God, please, no. You said eat shit. That's what I did for you.
Hell yeah, Chris.
Eat shit, Easy.
Good looks, Chris.
I'll put up his picture.
I don't know if he deserves that.
Well, here's the Detroit Lions offensive third quarter rankings. It was 4.3, ranked 20th in the league. That's in the offensive side of the ball.
4.2.
Where they're the best. I gotta see. I'm sorry. And then on the defense, they allowed 6.9 points, ranking dead last in the league.
Yikes.
Now, Speedy, I guess I have a question for you. Is there an answer to the third quarter woes for the Detroit Lions? Or is it a mixture of things?
I think that falls on coaching. I really do. I really think that shows.
You're questioning Dan Campbell.
I think that shows that other coaches are making more adjustments at halftime than the Detroit Lions are, and I think you see the numbers in the fourth quarter. They're a lot better offensively in the fourth quarter. They're the third-ranked team per points in the fourth quarter, but I think you need to make some more adjustments at halftime. I think you need to get those adjustments established and running faster, and it all comes with time, man. You got a lot of young guys on this team, a lot of young guys on this roster, so it's hard for them to adjust on the fly as it is more seasoned guys. So I don't think that's something that should be too drastic of a worry for Lions fans going forward. I think they'll get it fixed, and the third quarter will be no more.
There was, because we were supposed to be a segment on this like last week, and I had notes on it, breaking down some of the situations that gone down in the third quarter, and that's relating just against the turnovers.
You know how to write.
We know how Jared Goff had a couple of like those ugly games, and a couple of turnovers did come in the third quarter, and they weren't all Jared Goff too. There was a fumble that my man Craig Reynolds had on the kick return against the Chicago Bears. But I think all those things contribute to these numbers like looking worse than what it is. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs fumbling in that speaking of shitty third quarters, that's kind of what it was starting out in the San Francisco third quarter in the NFC Conference Championship game. I don't know if there is like a coaching point to make on it, unless it's weird to say maybe you aren't motivating the guys enough to come out there as hungry as they did in the first half. I really don't know. I think first quarter and fourth quarter Detroit Lions rank amongst the best teams. I can't really put a finger as to like what's going on in these third quarter situations. It's more than like shit luck, if I'm being quite honest with you. I don't know if that's like the analysis that you guys want. Maybe you want like some fine like numbers to break down. But I truly believe in this coaching staff enough that if that were the case, it would have been corrected, right? I don't think like they're just like unable to pinpoint what it is. I think it's just shit luck. I think the turnovers take a part of it, and that's just how it goes, man. This is football. The ball doesn't even bounce like straight up. You don't know where the fuck. It's unpredictable what's going to happen sometimes.
Do you think though that part of it can be, because we're not in the locker room so we don't know, but do you think part of it is Dan Campbell, when you see the clips of him motivating, obviously they're not going to put the X's and O's strategy on film on TV for people, but you know, a lot of what he said, a lot of what he preaches in a lot of these games is keep going, man, keep pushing, like that kind of stuff. And do you think that they're kind of in halftime, Dan Campbell is approaching these as we need to keep doing what we're doing rather than, like you said, the other team is coming into it, we need to make adjustments, because the Lions most of the time this season have had the lead at halftime. So a lot of teams are making the adjustment, and Dan Campbell's strategy is, hey, we're winning, let's stick to what's winning, and then it takes a quarter for them to kind of readjust and figure it out.
Well, I don't know, that's a good point. There are quarters, though, where we've been down, like the Chicago Bears game. We had to come back in that situation, still come out the shit third quarters. I think in the situation, too, against the Green Bay Packers, shit third quarter. I think twice in the Chicago Bears you could point to third quarter woes. Even in the San Francisco game, again, like If it's coaching, I think it's more of a motivational piece than it is like an X and O's, because we saw the passes completed to our Sam Laporta, and he gets dropped by freaking Fred Warner and Trey Greenlaw, and he just drops the pass. Like, I think it's more so on the players than it is like execution of like the coaching staff. Like,
I think it's a little bit of both. I do think that this coaching staff is very to their guns and very in their ways, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of mentality. But I agree with Chris. You look at if you have something working all first half, if you're cooking a team all first half, you got to expect them to make changes, to make adjustments in halftime. They're not just going to go out there and keep their same game plan if you're cooking them the entire first half. It's like Neil says, like, these guys drive Benzes too. You got to expect the coaches on the other side to be like, all right, they're whooping our ass with this, so here's what we're going to do to counter it. So I think you need to preemptively make adjustments, because you know that you can't just keep hammering that same spot. Like, they're eventually gonna block it. They're eventually gonna do something
they're coming
to change
out and still making these plays though. I mean, the San Francisco game is a perfect example. Like, they come out with 3 straight runs, like 6 yards or more, back to back to back to back, and then it just comes like the drop passes from there on, and then you got the fumble from Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, I don't know, like, what you want coaching to do to prevent those kind of things. It's kind of, like I said, I think it's like shit luck. I mean, I
don't
really
think you can have shit luck for an entire season of one specific
That's the weird part of it, though, right?
There's bad luck. If, like, the Jahmyr Gibbs stuff, the drop passes in the NFC Championship game, I'd equate that to bad luck. I'd equate that to maybe a little nerves as well for being in the biggest spot you've ever been in your entire career. Like, oh shit, we're 30 minutes from a Super Bowl. A little nerves in that too. But when it is a consistent data point throughout a 17, 18-week season of this not being good, of them being one of the worst teams in the league in the third quarter, I don't think it's just a bad luck situation. I think there's something more than that.
I just don't know what the adjustment could be. Do you have an answer for it, Nick?
We've heard Aaron Glenn talk about the word adjustments, and he doesn't want to hear it, basically, is kind of what he said in the quote. And it comes down to Aaron Glenn. You're the third, was it the 32nd or the 30th?
32nd.
It was the worst third quarter. We actually stopped deferring to the second half because it didn't even matter if we had the ball or not when it started the second half. We took the ball every single opportunity we got.
That's a good point.
We literally stopped because our third quarters were so bad where we had to have a lead at the start. That's an adjustment in its own right. You stopped deferring to the second half and started taking the ball, which I thought was a good adjustment to try to get out to an early lead. I have no idea the reason behind this. It's one of the oddest stats in all of football.
It's so weird.
And the thing that pisses me off the most is we didn't figure out what it was, or it wouldn't have happened in the biggest game of the season, the NFC Championship.
Well,
and it does come back to bite us because we do need to figure out what the hell's going on, and we need to do it before the start of next year.
And that's even like the Seahawks game, right? First home game, Jared Goff pick 6 in the third quarter, Dave Montgomery fumble in the third quarter. It's just like weird shit. And again, I know I'm Mr. Defender Glenn, and I know people don't like to hear it, but in the context of the game, a lot of these situations, there's turnovers happening in these third quarters, pitting these defenses in a shit situations to like stop these teams from scoring. And like Speedy said, comeback situations on top of it. It's really fucking. I don't have an answer. I remember hearing Ben Johnson speak of it. They didn't necessarily have an answer. It's something they take note to. It's just that I don't know what the solution really is, Chris.
And I think this is the biggest thing that this team needs to fix this coming off season, coming into next season. It's easy to say that because it's a 30-second. Like when you rank dead last, obviously that's going to be one of your weakest, if not your weakest area. But also the other thing I keep thinking about, as I've been listening to podcasts about the Super Bowl and everything, that Super Bowl halftime, and that's the goal. That's where his team wants to be. That's where his organization is going for. That Super Bowl halftime is not a regular halftime. That's a 45-minute halftime. That's a lot of time that changes the ebbs and flows of the game. And this is a team that has already shown for a whole season that they struggled to start the second half. On the biggest stage, where it's also going to be a different time constraint, it's also going to be a different situation that will mess up the flow, which I think is what Dan Campbell is probably preaching in these halftimes is, hey, we got a good flow, we got a good rhythm, let's keep it going. But when you have a 45-minute halftime, it's hard to come right back into sync to that. So this is something that they got to fix because this could be something that could be catastrophic if the Lions were to reach the biggest stage next season.
That's a great point in terms of the Super Bowl too. Damn.
Yeah, that scares me, Chris.
Yeah, way to fucking go, Chris. Let me tell you guys about Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of workout equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes of a 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all this for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
At Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Swiss Insurance is the best insurance in the game. Whether it's your home or auto, my guy Mark will get you right. Visit Mark at SwissINS.com or give him a call at 248-800-4177. What up, though? It's the mailbag segment for Woodward Heavyweights. What?
Yeah, speaking of the little butthurt baby, Adam Schefter just posted on Twitter, Eagles will be the home team for the 2024 Friday night Week 1 first ever NFL game in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Nice.
Friday night football, Week 1.
It's Friday night.
So the Lions.
I don't think we play them next year, do we?
Yeah, the Lions will not be the Brazil game.
Oh, yeah, we won't.
Thank God.
Yeah, we dodged that bullet. If the Miami Dolphins had won that, then maybe.
Yeah.
Because that's like, I guess Brazil's like biggest market, or I guess they're
Miami.
That's like their favorite team. And then we would have, if they won the division, we had to face them.
I'm sorry. I got to keep it on.
What?
I got to keep it on Toucan for the shot.
Miss.
Left.
Miss. You suck.
I can't see the bucket, man.
There was a great piece on this third quarter. I just can't find it now. I was reading it this morning, too. It's on my phone. I'll have to find
Spenny, Ice Spice or Doja Cat, says Mickey Casper.
Doja.
I'm going Ice Spice.
What?
I feel you, because when Doja gets weird, when she gets weird, but I'm talking.
Weird girls
I'm
got
talking
the best.
Yeah.
What are you talking?
Yeah, but
that's
like,
a factor.
You don't think
also,
Ice Spice has some good?
The weird's better.
She's too weird.
Definition of Illuminati got to her.
The Illuminati got to her.
Yeah,
have you seen the video
bad.
of her like screaming on the floor looking for a vape?
I don't care,
dude.
I mean, we've all been there.
Crazy girls got the best. It's not even debatable.
No, it's not. But like I said, there is a like arc of like.
But you want to experience something or not?
I would rather experience Ice Spice. Like you're acting like that's a bad like a consolation prize.
Well, I'm just saying there's a clear winner.
I'm just taking peak for peak. I'm taking Doja. But
Steve O'Baby, mailbag. Spencer, which team scares you for the Detroit Lions next season? Do you mean just in general or in the NFC North? I'm going to take it as the NFC North, and I'd say the Packers are going to be the biggest threat for the Lions next year.
What was the question?
Which team scares you the most for the Lions next season?
San Francisco.
Got to be the Cavaliers.
Fuck. That's a great question, man. It's between the Packers and the Bears for me. I guess it depends on.
I think it's the Packers.
I mean, I got to see what they do in the offseason. I picked the Packers last year, but we witnessed the Detroit Lions struggle to overcome the Bears twice now this season. I think it might be them, but they're going to have ushering a rookie quarterback, so
yeah,
you probably maybe go with the Packers just because of that reason.
Chris Pugh in the Woodward Sports chat says, mailbag, Pal World or Super Bowl?
Pal World.
I'm going to be playing Pal World. I'm definitely going to watch the Super Bowl. I think we're going to be at Cicerelli's for Sticks. I think he's doing his baby shower there, and then the Super Bowl. I'm not sure. I think that's before, but I'm definitely gonna be playing Pal World that day. My pals are getting pretty legit.
If you were Dan Campbell, how would you attack the third quarter issues? This is from Chef Talks.
I saw somebody.
Shout out to him, his New Yak podcast. Check it out.
New Yak podcast. Check it out. Shout out, Chef. I saw somebody say the third quarter should be scripted like the first quarter, and I think that would be a good way to start.
I think they're all scripted though.
Yeah,
when we were talking
change
to
the
Herman
script.
about it.
Rewrite the script.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Write
man.
a better script.
They're working. I think
it's not working, obviously.
I think if I'm Dane Campbell, I guess I just I get in their face about it. In the same way you would about that first quarter of that pregame speech. I guess I would try to reenact those conversations and moments, because again, the plays are there. They're just fumbling, throwing interceptions. They just keep doing goofy shit. So I think you got to get in the players' head, bro, we got to fucking fix this. Stop fucking around. Yeah. This is all season you guys fucked around last year. Yeah. It was season prior, I think, in the back half of it, you fucked around last year too. Get your shit straight. Come on.
Mickey Casper clarified. He said Moo era Doja Cat. Yeah, I'm definitely 100%. Doing that Doja Cat. That Doja Cat was
every era Doja Cat.
No,
fucking day.
Right now Doja Cat.
Eazy, what?
Nice.
You're into this goth death. Devil worship,
yes.
Devil worship.
The devil
Doja
worship
Cat?
is where I get off put.
Bro, have you seen her in the black Satan dressed up?
Yeah, bro, she's
don't care.
She's getting way too. She's going way too off the edge with it. But Moo era Doja Cat. When I see her with those French fries up her nose, I was like, that's pretty hot. That's a cow I'd like to take down. The away fan mailbag. I'm not sure if many watched the NHL All-Star game. I did. It was nice to see DeBrincat find the net. Hope he builds some confidence for him. I like the draft, but wouldn't it be better to see teammates for him?
Wait, what?
Like the
what
draft. Oh, but wouldn't it be better to see? Oh, because they did like how the NBA did it, where they draft. I like the draft with the All-Star game. I think that's cool. I'd rather see them play with other guys that they would never get the chance to besides that. So I like that.
Exactly. And who cares about being picked the last All-Star?
Yeah.
They're like, that hurts his feelings. It's like,
I
man,
like the draft
just
for
be
sure.
better.
And I love DeBrincat. He had a great game. He got robbed of MVP. It went to Austin Matthews because they were in Toronto, and that's what they're gonna do. But I enjoyed the NHL All-Star game. I thought it was pretty fun. And Michael Bublé was tripping on shrooms, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, dude, that was funny shit.
Eduardo O'Neill, mailbag. Who are your can't miss prospects? Also, Minnesota and Chicago go to London next year. Maybe they send us out there with them. Possibly, we'll figure that out. That would make sense. Send 3 of them out there, 1 of them on a bye. Can't miss prospect. I think Nate Wiggins is a can't miss prospect, honestly. I think the kid is a stud. I think he's going to be very good going forward.
Brock Bowers, can't miss. Going to be a top tight end right away.
Lions.
Oh, I thought.
No, that's fair. He did say just who are your can't miss prospects.
Can't miss is Brock Bowers for me. He's going to put up Sam Laporta type numbers. Year 1, I hope he does not go to Chicago.
No, I think he's going to go to. I think he's going to go to LA. Honestly,
Marvin Harrison,
or
they trade back or something.
LA to the Chargers. Martin Harrison, yeah, for sure.
Hey, we know Jimmy loves his tight ends.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out to Mickey Casper.
Keys the Wisdom mailbag. How high are you willing to go into the draft to land the Bammer kicker we need?
Is he that good?
He is very good. I would say 4th round, 5th round.
Someone said Ice Spice is his second cousin. Spinny does. He did pick the cousin.
I picked the cousin over my cousin. Yeah, I did. Yeah. And I will stand on that.
Sick fuck.
You're the one who do your cousin. It's not Alabama easy.
What do you mean?
Don't
We're
be
all
mad.
cousins.
My cousins are hot and yours aren't. Actually, no, your cousin is hot.
Actually,
what the fuck? Gross, dude.
Actually, I wish I was here.
Yeah, right. I'll screenshot. You said,
that's terrible. Okay, the kicker. I think 4th or 5th round for that Bama
kicker. If she's into it, yeah, I guess.
Jesus Christ, bro, you're gonna get stuck.
You know what?
4th round.
Let me hit
4th or 5th round. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this guy, so I can't.
Good. The Bama kicker. Oh, dude, he was banging 57 yards.
Is he foreign?
He was the no.
He's a big white dude.
He's the reason the Alabama was in it with Michigan. He saved that
55
game.
plus yarders, with ease.
Millbag, watch film on Braden Fisk. I'd honestly take him in the 2nd. He's projected 3rd, but the guy's a monster defensive tackle, and our 2nd is more like an early 3rd anyway. All right.
Mailbag from Megan. Will the NFC North be the best division next year?
Yeah, it's going to be up there.
It's going to be up there for sure. I think the Bears take a big step. I think the Packers have proven that they're a competitive team. I think the Vikings finish last in the division, which is I still think they'll get 7-8 wins, but
yeah.
I still think it's going to be the
Vikings know what they're doing.
I still think the NFC West is going to be the best division because they, the Niners,
Chargers,
the Rams.
Oh, NFC West.
Yeah, Niners, Rams, Seahawks, and I think the Cardinals are going to get. They can't be worse. I think they'll get a couple more wins than they did last year.
I see NFC North.
Or the AFC West.
I was thinking the AFC West, if anything.
Because the Raiders look pretty good at the end of the year with
Raiders.
Antonio Pierce.
Now, obviously, you got the Chiefs. No, actually, I think it might be the NFC North. The Packers looked fucking like they look scary. Like I know everyone wanted them to win so we get the home playoff game, but I was also like,
they were
And do we want to see that again?
Supremacy, yes, he did just call his cousin hot. He picked his cousin over a cousin. We've done this. Me and Chris
all day.
Me and Chris both took a cousin, and JB and Eazy took their cousin. It's I don't know, man. It's a slippery slope. But that'll do it for us today.
Yo, you're taking the cousin is
no
way
disrespect
weird.
whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth.
One is literally illegal, so it should be worse.
The other one should be illegal too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is.
It's not loophole.
But it's not loophole.
Make
sure you smash that like button. Appreciate you all.
What's Nick's answer?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nick.
I'm not touching anything.
You taking a cousin or your cousin?
We all answered already.
I would much rather have a cousin.
Thank you.
That is
gross.
You are
that is gross.
Absolutely out of this world right now.
I didn't want to disrespect you guys how I feel about that.
Make sure you smash that like button.
That's more canceled.
Make sure you smash that like button. Share the stream.
Nicky.
Appreciate you all for joining us today.
One second. Let me clarify this. You're saying your own cousin?
Yes.
Versus a cousin.
Versus a cousin.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. No matter what, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but which one now that you know?
A cousin.
I'm
now
doing
you know
a
the
cousin.
difference.
A cousin.
You still going a cousin? See, that's borderline P word to me because like mentally that's where they're at.
4 Eazy, 4 Chris.
This is just a ridiculous.
4 Nick.
You know what I'm saying?
We're ridiculous. We'll catch you guys
gross
tomorrow.
to me. That's weird.
Peace.
Weirdos.